My name is Andrea James. I'm the Executive Director of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. National Council is a membership-based organization working to end the incarceration of women and girls. It's an honor for me to share our views on implementation of the First Step Act and next steps Congress should take to transform the criminal legal system. Regarding the First Step Act implementation, reforming the criminal legal system is one of the most important issues of our time. This country incarcerates more people than any other developed nation in the world, with over 2 million people incarcerated, an increasing number of whom are women and girls. At the federal level, we incarcerate approximately 177,000 people, 45% of whom are incarcerated for a federal drug offense, and a disproportionate number of whom are Black and brown. This is a national crisis that Congress must address. When the passage of the First Step Act, Congress attempted to build on several important reforms that preceded it, the Second Chance Act of 2008 and the Fair Sentencing Act of 2010, to continue to move the ball forward. And while there have been some modest but important improvements to the system, as a membership organization with members inside and outside of prisons, we receive dozens of emails a week from women who are confused about the First Step Act, having received conflicting information, making it difficult for many incarcerated people to take advantage of what the First Step Act has to offer. Much of the confusion has been the result of the exclusions that were included within the bill and completely bar far too many people from the Act's benefits. Literally, 68 categories of people may not receive earned time credits, despite their successful participation in educational programming, essentially closing the door on individuals who most need help in preparation for a successful return to our communities. Also excluded are people who are slated to be deported after their sentence is completed, denying them any chance to prepare in any way for that transition. As we look towards the future, Congress must work to avoid unnecessary exclusions that ultimately undermine efforts to rehabilitate people. Regarding the risk assessment tool, we are concerned that the tool will incorrectly identify women as likely to recidivate based on static measures such as the crime for which they were convicted. We therefore urge that the approach to developing the risk assessment tool be modified. The circle of people involved in developing the tool must be widened to include the expertise of qualified, formerly incarcerated people. The Hudson Institute is hosting the development team and has selected academics who may have strong technical credentials, but none of whom have direct experience with the criminal legal system. Experiences of currently incarcerated people must also shape the development of the risk assessment tool. By definition, women serving decades-long sentences will be flagged as high risk. In fact, they are the opposite. Women who are serving long sentences are integral to the day-to-day functioning of the prisons. They teach other incarcerated women and prison staff the procedures of the prison, including training for industry jobs, such as Unicor. Long-timer women counsel new women adjusting to life in prison, provide comfort and advice to those separated from their children, and mediate interpersonal conflicts. These contributions should be captured in the risk assessment tool. Women like those who have traveled here with me today, Virginia Douglas, Justine Moore, Tahiba Bain, all having served decades in a federal prison and now leading the movement to end incarceration of women and girls, could contribute significantly to the risk assessment discussion and development in addition to the statisticians. Finally, credit for earned time must be assessed retroactively, taking into consideration the ways many incarcerated people already have made great strides in their personal transformation against great odds during years of incarceration. Ultimately, we recommend that Congress ensures the Department of Justice addresses all of these issues before anyone is assessed by the pattern tool. Regarding next steps, directly impacted people must have a seat at the table. As experts in the field, our goal is to encourage meaningful reform, and we are entitled to ongoing, meaningful opportunity to explain why we don't believe something goes far enough and what else is possible, such as our fight for inclusion of retroactivity. I was incarcerated at the federal prison for women in Danbury, Connecticut during the passage of the Fair Sentencing Act and the fix of the sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine. I will wrap up with it was painful to see how many deserving women could not benefit from its passage because two sentencing provisions were not applied retroactively, and it's why we fought to include retroactivity not only for FSA, but also for changes to 3 strikes, 2 strikes, and 924C offenses in the First Step Act.